Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and online violin tutor. So in today's video, I'm going to show you an exercise that is going to be excellent to help you to stop hitting other strings, which seems to be such an issue with lots of violinists, and I get it because it is quite difficult. So this exercise should really help you with that. But before I go into the exercise, I just want to tell you about my 1 to 30 violin course that I have, that I know a lot of you have no idea that I have. So my 1 to 30 violin course is the first online and interactive course of its kind that 100% guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to a very decent, accomplished intermediate player. It's comprised of 30 lessons with 5 PDF tutorial and songbooks, and the whole course is completely online and downloadable. So the course will start off by taking you through the very basics, from how to hold the violin and how to hold the bow. Then you'll start to play simple exercises just to get you going. You'll be learning how to read music, and then you will finish off by learning a proper piece of music with a piano backing track. And that's just in the first 10 lessons. The beauty of this course is that the first 10 lessons are absolutely free, along with all the PDF printouts and all the materials that you might need. This is going to give you an idea of my teaching style and really to see how fast that you're going to learn with my 1 to 30 violin course before you commit to the rest of it. The course is priced at $59.99 US, and this is a one-off payment. It's a really cheap course when you think about it. If you were to hire a private music teacher or have weekly lessons, you know, they'd be costing you, what, in the UK, about anywhere between sort of 20 and 30 pounds an hour. In the US, you know, maybe an average of $50, sometimes more, depending on whether you're in a big city or not. So my course really is like having a one-time payment for a teacher. As I said, the course is 100% downloadable, and it is literally available to anyone, anywhere, no matter where you are in the world. This course really is the enchilada of all violin courses, and the link to the free first 10 lessons and all materials needed to get yourself started right now will be linked directly below this video. Okay, so this is just a very simple exercise. You don't really need to know anything, or there's no sheet music involved or anything like that. Now, just before I go into the exercise, just a couple of things just to bear in mind. You need to make sure that your bowing is straight. So we don't want to be doing any of this. And we need to make sure that our arm is nice and square. So from our shoulder to our elbow, elbow to the wrist is nice and square. So just make sure that your bow is in line with the violin and makes a nice cross shape. So we should be looking like that. And what we're going to do to help stop hitting other strings is to figure out the level that we're at with the arm. Now, I liken this to an elevator or a lift, being in a lift or an elevator, and you are stopping at certain floors. So let me probably just go this way because it might be easier. Now, if we're on the G string, so remember, we're keeping everything straight. We're not doing any of this. Keep everything nice and straight. It might help if you're doing this in front of a mirror, perhaps. So if you are on the G string, okay, and your arm is here, everything is flat. So from the wrist is the same level to the elbow, which is the same level to the shoulder. We're here, okay? So we're on the top floor of our elevator or our lift. Now we move to the D string. We're there. So we've probably moved about 2 or so inches down. And then we're going to go down the next floor, and then down again to the E floor. So you can see everything moves as one. So basically you're just kind of flapping up and down like a chicken, if you like, which is probably the easiest way to kind of put it, really. But you got to remember that there's no in-between floors. So you're going from the G floor, the top floor, to the next floor down, next floor down, next floor down, and that's where they are. So there's one here, there's one level there, and there's one level there. And you're not going in between them, you're going from that level to that level from that level, that floor to that floor, if that kind of makes sense. So when we're moving, that's how much we're moving. We're not kind of slowly moving, because if we did that, we're not going to kind of get a nice... So we're not going to get a nice transition if we're moving in between. We don't really want to be stopping in between a floor either, because if we do, then we're going to be hitting bow strings. Now obviously that's different if you want to do double stopping. That's a whole other video for another day. So the exercise that you're going to start off by doing is just playing a few notes on the G string. Stop, and then move to the next floor down, the D floor. Stop, move to the A floor. Stop, move to the E floor. Back up. And that's it. So you can just do it a little bit faster. So 1, 2, 3, 4, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, move. So you can get yourself into a little bit of a groove, a little bit of a rhythm. Then you can make those 4 notes into 2 if you want. So you're going a little bit quicker. And then maybe 1. But again, it's all about this. It's all about the arm. So then you can move to doing 1 long bow with all 4 floors or all 4 notes. So as I'm looking at myself, I think my G string was out of tune there. So as I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, you can see my arm is moving in stages, almost like a robot, robotically. That's fine, because I don't eventually bow like that. I mean, you're not going to suddenly kind of make yourself bow like a robot or anything. It doesn't quite work that way. But it's going to help your arm understand the level. So when you go to the G string, or the elevator wants to go to the G floor, you know it's going to be there. So you're learning, your arm is learning by memory where those levels are. So it hits the floor at exactly the place it needs to hit. So if you're going from the E floor or the E string and you want to go to the D, you know it's going to be there, and you know it's not going to be sort of somewhere in between. So start off by doing your 4 notes and then moving. Then you can turn that into 3 notes, 2 notes, whatever. The main one is going to be so if you're starting on the G string, you want to be going a down bow when you're going to the E string, and then E string, you're going to be doing it all in an up bow. Once you've got that, you can speed it up. What you are looking for there is to keep a nice rhythm. So it's going to, again, this is kind of like a twofold exercise, one that I like to give my students, because it not only helps the arm kind of separate out, but the important thing to remember with that is that you're not just, everybody can do that. It needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It needs to have a rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not just, not just willy-nilly, because then you're not really separating out. You're not separating the floors. The key with this is to separate the floors, but to make sure you're jumping from each floor exactly where it should be. So where your arm should be at the right time. So if I give that a bit of an exaggeration there, you can sort of more or less sort of hear the difference. So you don't need to exaggerate it like as much as I did. That's just more of a demonstration. Do you see what I mean? So you'll find it harder as you kind of get faster, but it's a really nice exercise, and you'll find that the arm will just nicely flow. But it's not about the arm just going up and down in a nice methodical, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, it takes the same amount of time for your arm to get to the top as it does for you to get to the bottom, as it does to get back to the top, as it does to get back down to the bottom. But it's what's happening in between that as well. You need to be giving each of those floors the right amount of time, and therefore if you're giving each floor, when you're getting to each floor, you're giving it the same amount of time or the right amount of time, you're hitting that floor each time. So it does involve a little bit of skill, it does involve a little bit of time, but I promise you it's quite a fun exercise to do. It's probably one of the more fun exercises, because it does actually sound quite impressive. You know, it isn't one of those that sound hideous and sound awful when you're trying to learn. You know, maybe it's a little bit kind of repetitive, but it is quite a nice exercise, and it's a really good exercise because it will really help this arm understand each of the levels so that you can hit them each time and not sort of, you know, stop the elevator halfway in between and then all of a sudden you're hitting the D string and the A string at the same time, which isn't what we want. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed that video. The links to my 1 to 30 violin course are going to be directly underneath this video, along with the first 10 lessons, which are absolutely free. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.